You were very kind to him. I saw you together, and I think he treated you a bit like a father. And
I was disappointed.
Yeah.
In him, but it is what it is. That happens. Things like that happen. I don't blame him for anything. That I was a little disappointed.
Could you reconcile?
Very low energy. President Donald Trump is weighing in yet again on his lover's quarrel with Elon Musk. So is DC's former power couple getting back together? Well, there are some pretty big updates here because Elon Musk is apparently looking to make up with Trump. And Trump seems to be a little more receptive this time around. So before we get to Trump and how he's weighing in on all of this, let's get to Elon's semi-apology. So he posted on X this morning, "I regret some of my posts about President Donald Trump last week. They went too far." Now, Waz, he didn't really tell us which comments he felt went too far. I can think of one that was particularly, explosive. But what do you think?
It's just funny. I like it's just funny. But it also just speaks to the idea that people were like, "Oh, Trump is gonna be in trouble without Elon." It's like, I don't know, man. Like, this guy's in charge of the federal government. He can do all kinds of things to Elon and his businesses at the snap of a finger. In fact, I think that's a big reason why a lot of these tech people got in line in the first place, is that all over the Democrats and backstabbing them will not result in retaliations. Whereas if you piss off Trump, he's going to retaliate against you. That's how we got some of the antitrust cases against these tech companies in the first place, is that Trump felt like they were overly, helpful of Democrats. And so, yeah, they made the correct calculation that you shouldn't cross Trump because they'll actually get back at you and treat you like an enemy. And I think Elon is slowly realizing, like, yeah, let me not do that, because these guys can really make my life harder than I need it to be.
I mean, on the day of this relationship basically blowing up on that Friday, Tesla stock just cratered. Like, it just really, really went down. And so I wouldn't be surprised if Elon Musk has his business interests front and center. I don't think that he's changed his mind on how he feels about the so-called big, beautiful bill. But who knows? Maybe he'll feel better about it now that Senate Republicans are thinking about getting rid of the provisions that would have no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. The tax savings that would benefit working class Americans, that's on the chopping block. So maybe the debt that this bill would contribute to wouldn't be as extreme. So maybe he'll change his mind. I don't know. I doubt it though. But just to remind you all of what he accused Donald Trump of, he said, "Without me, Trump would have lost the election. Dems would control the House and Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate. In light of the president's statement about cancellation of my government contracts, SpaceX will be decommissioning its Dragon spacecraft immediately." And then finally, we highlighted this because this is probably what he's thinking about when he says, "Maybe I went too far." It's where he basically indirectly accused Donald Trump of being a pedophile by being in the Epstein files. So look, if he is talking about that particular post, which he has since deleted, it kind of shows how deeply pathetic he is. So on Friday, he wrote the following on X: "I will apologize profusely as soon as there is a full dump of the Epstein files." They call them dumps, big dumps. Okay, there isn't gonna be a dump of the Epstein files. And so he deleted that later. He deleted the original Epstein Trump tweet or post. And then, he's gonna be a good boy. Gonna be a good boy and do what Trump wants him to do. He's gonna shut his mouth about the big, beautiful bill, because he doesn't want his businesses to be harmed by decisions that Trump makes in retaliation to what Musk has said about him.
Yeah, and we know for a fact that his issues weren't the big beautiful bill. Like he started going against the bill because certain stuff like the NASA guy that he wanted to install, the little puppet he wanted installed at NASA got rejected. And he was having problems with the entire cabinet because Elon Musk is deeply weird and antisocial and nobody ever likes the guy. And so, yeah, he was just doing something to retaliate. This wasn't like, oh, this guy's such a huge believer in, not giving the rich a bunch of mega ridiculous tax cuts. It was just his own personal grievances. And so the idea that he's not gonna diss the big, beautiful bill anymore, he never gave a damn in the first place.
Yeah, that I do think it was more about, his government grants and contracts and his preferred people getting top spots in government agencies, definitely. Now, let's get to Donald Trump because I am curious, is Trump open to making up with him? So as we discussed earlier this week, Musk had an interesting reaction to a clip of JD Vance saying that Musk could get back into Trump's good graces. Here's the clip of Vance saying that.
Hopefully Elon figures it out, comes back into the fold. I know the president, for a couple days, I'll tell you, just, I don't want to reveal too many confidences, but, was getting a little frustrated, feeling like some of the criticisms were unfair coming from Elon. But I think has been very restrained because the president doesn't think that he needs to be in a blood feud with Elon Musk. Mm-hmm. And I actually think if Elon chilled out a little bit, everything would be fine.
So to that statement from JD Vance, Musk wrote simply, cool. Okay. So now what? Well, during an appearance on Pod Force One, sorry. Pod Save America, Pod doesn't need to be in the title of your podcast. But anyway, it's okay, whatever. During a conversation on that new podcast, he opened up about his fractured relationship with Musk. Let's take a look at that.
Is there anything that you can do to forgive him? Could you see that happening?
Well, I have no hard feelings. I was really surprised that happened. He went after a bill that's phenomenal. It's the best thing we've ever signed in this country. And that's phase one. Phase two, phase three, all of a sudden is, it all comes together. It's coming together so well. And when he did that, I was not a happy camper. So it's too bad.
You said he had problems. What kind of problems? I mean, is it the drugs?
I don't know what his problem is, really. I don't know. I haven't thought too much about him in the last little while. But the bill is so good. When he went after the bill, this bill is going to turn around this country so fast your head will spin. I think the bill is great. And
he just didn't
I think
get
he
that.
Feels very badly that he said that, actually.
And maybe it was something else. I mean, he had the fight with Scott Besson outside your office.
Yeah, well, they had not a fist fight, people, but I guess they had a little bit of a shouting match.
Sick puppy. He likes to say that a lot too. Okay, so let's finally get to his final decision. His feelings about Elon Musk now that he's kind of semi-apologized. Let's watch.
It is what it is that happens. Things like that happen. I don't blame him for anything. That I was a little disappointed.
Could you reconcile?
Say it?
Could you reconcile with him? Do you think? Could you forgive him?
I guess I could, but we have to straighten out the country.
Do we have to straighten out the country? You're causing total chaos in the country as we speak. How hilarious is that? Look, whatever. I'm sure that they'll bury the hatchet, which sucks because their feud was super entertaining and it kind of gave me something fun to focus on amid all of the terrible stories that we have to cover on a daily basis. But nonetheless, it looks like they're on a path to recovery, Woz. I'm sure they're great friends.
And Trump is actually smart enough to be like, look, I don't need to carry a blood feud with this dude forever. He might one day be useful again. It's just that he's on the outs because his usefulness has expired. The expiration date is over. That's why they pushed him to the side. So it's like, yeah, I don't need to be in open warfare with you. You're done. We don't need you around here anymore. And I can just move on. And maybe in the future, I could tap your pockets again and use and abuse you once more.
He is an expert on that. So I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't.
Also, it bears mentioning that like JD Vance used to be a Trump skepticist, called him a Nazi, all kinds of crazy stuff back in 2015 or 16 or whatever it was. Like he's got a bunch of people who are Trump converts. So the idea that you've once been anti-Trump is not an impediment to being down with Trump in the future. He's actually shown that over and over that like he can get over stuff pretty easily.
Yeah.
And so once you kiss the ring, you're back.
He just wants that ring kissed. You're totally right about that.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.